Jay.
Jay, welcome.
Thank you.
If I borrow money from you to pay off the interest of a debt, it's a 10-year rule. If I borrow money from you to pay off the interest of a debt I owe to Jeff, am I not adding to my debt?
Well, without dealing with hypotheticals, why don't you?
The president seems to think that borrowing money to pay the interest on the debt is not adding to the debt. I don't understand that math.
What the president made clear is that we need to get to a place, and his budget absolutely does this, where we are no longer spending more than we're taking in. And what the reality is that we have, like a lot of like some families might have, debt on their credit card with interest rates that have to be contended with. But the first important step to dealing with this issue is getting your regular spending and income in balance so that you are no longer adding to the problem. The interest is something we have to deal with, and interest payments are a major portion of our long-term debt problem that we need to address. But look, it is not an inconsequential deal to propose a budget that cuts as substantially as it does in targeted areas, so that the federal government lives within its means in order to be able to continue to invest in the future, because you have to have economic growth, you have to have job creation if we're going to address this overall long-term problem.
I assume when the president calls for an adult conversation, he means that conversation should be forthright, and politicians shouldn't be hiding behind cute language such as, we will not be adding more to the national debt, even if hundreds of billions of dollars are being added to the national debt in interest paid on debt that President Obama helped himself create.
Well, the debt has been created over a number of years, as you know, and we came in here with an economic crisis, the likes of which I dare say nobody in this room has ever seen, and which threatened to head straight into a depression if we didn't act. But I also remind you that we inherited that when this administration came into office, this president came into office, an enormous debt that had been piled up in the previous 8 years. And that is part of the problem. And the interest that you're talking about is on that debt as well. But look, I think it's important to step back. The president is put forward a budget that seriously addresses the need to reduce spending, that also protects the key areas that he thinks need to be invested in so that we can remain competitive, grow the economy, create jobs. And he looks forward to working with Republicans and Democrats in Congress to deal with both the budget proposals and the long-term debt. And he thinks that there is reason to believe that we can get this done.
Just to button this, you think that we will not be adding more to the national debt is a statement that stands scrutiny?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Jake, we have explained precisely what that means that in terms of new spending, getting our spending and income, our income and spending into balance. That is an important step towards dealing with our deficit and our debt.
Well, yeah, Jay, in terms of that, following on that, PolitiFact, which is nonpartisan, both sides tend to agree with its nonpartisan analysis, looked at the very issue of interest on the debt. And they said that if the president's budget passes, annual spending minus interest will equal annual revenue in 2017. So basically, that's the point when the interest on the debt can be put aside. And then basically, in the next 6 years, new spending is going to continue to add to the debt. So isn't that adding to the debt? It's not just interest on the debt, it's new spending in the next 6 years.
Well, we obviously have our budget proposal, and Jack Lew, the budget director, has been out answering in far greater detail than I can or do on what our budget proposal contains and the assumptions it contains and the numbers it contains. But the president's made very clear what his priorities are here and what the reductions that we're looking to make, and how that really is. It's the only plan out there, and I would remind you, it is the only budget proposal out there right now that reduces spending and brings down the deficit. It is a very serious reasonable proposal that demonstrates his seriousness about this debate.
But when PolitiFact says it's false for the president to say that he's not adding to the debt, it doesn't matter that this White House is still going to continue to make the claim that you're not adding to the debt, even when nonpartisan people have looked at it and said you actually are.
Well, look, I would just refer you to the statements of Jack Lew explaining this. I'm not an economist. I know that you've heard phrases like that before, but I'm not, and we absolutely stand by the budget.